My special guest at the moment is Mark Long, and we're just talking to Mark about a program that he put together called Eat, Work It, and Move It. That's right, Mark? I got it right?
That's right. Eat it, work it, move it.
Eat it, work it, move it. Eat it. I forgot about the IT. And it's having an amazing amount of success here in Macarthur. But we're just talking a bit about you. You're a local boy, aren't you, Mark?
Yeah, that's right. Grew up in Camden, so yeah, local.
Where'd you go to school?
I went to school at Camden High School, which is interesting because they were the second school to come on board with Eat It, Work It, Move It. Once we did the pilot project at Elizabeth Macarthur and found out what worked and what didn't and changed it slowly. So it was really nice to go back into Camden High School and they've had amazing results.
And so is it moving outside of the area?
At the moment, we've got the funding to roll that out to 13 high schools. So we've got 8 at the moment, and we'll fill the remaining 5 spots over the next 4 to 6 weeks, and we'll be ready to go in 2010 with the full complement. And that full complement then will give us the 13,000 kids.
Now, Mark, we were talking a little bit before about you playing softball and playing in the US for 3 years. How did that come about?
I guess the playing softball part happened at school, and we just did that, and really having no idea how that would come about, and bit by bit it just happened. The playing in the States came about through playing on the national team and travelling a bit with that, and at that stage there wasn't many people playing overseas, so it was really a really fortunate position that somebody said, was I interested in going, and I said yes, not really thinking too carefully about it, and about 6 weeks later I was on a plane as an 18-year-old off to Green Bay, Wisconsin in sort of early April, and it was absolutely freezing, and I thought, what have I done? But it was an amazing experience, and something that seems, like I said before, a long time ago, but lots and lots of fun.
Do you get paid?
It's funny how it's structured. I guess it's a professional sport, and I pitched. I guess I was fortunate along those lines that the pitchers did get paid a little bit of money, and I guess the opportunities that came along with it were fascinating as well.
What did the Yanks think of you?
I guess the Americans, they were really interested because I think when I first went, there was probably about 4 or 5 Australians that had been there before, but there'd been a 20, 25-year history of New Zealanders going over quite a bit, so they would often sort of go, oh, it's another Kiwi. Oh, we're not Kiwi at all, no way. But and there was always the running joke. So I guess in the end it became a bit of a battle of, we'd pretend that we'd call the Americans Canadians and they'd call us Kiwis, and there'd be banter back and forth and that sort of thing. But I've got to say, I mean, the Americans, especially in the Midwest, are so hospitable and family orientated. It was a great place to go.
Yeah. I like the old Yanks. I've been there a couple of times. I've really enjoyed it, you know. Even my auntie in Canada says you go down there and they're all over you.
They really are. I mean, they just open their homes and so fortunate. And it was nice to travel through the Midwest.
You trained at the Institute of Sport?
That's right. I had the chance to go there. The national team programs are based, I guess, on a satellite sort of system, the way that people train and do that. But we often get together down the AIS in Canberra. And again, that was an amazing experience too. I remember going there for the first time, and the first camp we ever did there, I was 15, and to sit in that dining hall side by side with athletes that had participated at Olympic Games, and you knew who they were, and obviously they had no idea who you were, but just to be involved in, I think at times that's the power of sport, that you can just sit and really understand what people put in to be successful, and sports people do that really well.
A lot of work, don't they?
Yeah, they do. They do a lot, and often that's the support networks that they have behind them, and I think sport's a really good reflection about how life works, and the fact that we talk about networking and the fact that you need to support people, and the family support that people get and the family support that athletes get that allow them to do what they do so well is absolutely critical.
Mark, just getting back to this program, where would you like to see it take off to?
If I was really ambitious, I would say that I'd love to see it in every high school across the country. And I say that because we're now at a point where in 8 high schools across Macarthur, they're very, very different. I mean, the 8 high schools that are currently involved are really diverse in terms of their demographics and how they work and their structure. But it works, and it works in a large part because each school has an Eat It, Work It, Move It coordinator who we sort of support through the process, and they're really passionate about the project, and they have a group of people around them, and the teachers have this ability to innovate and adapt the program to meet the needs of their kids. So I think we've learned a lot over the time, but the results are really there for people to see in a variety of contexts. So I think that's a real possibility. Now it's just a matter of talking to the right people and looking at funding.
Yeah, so how much do we need? Is it a lot of money?
Look, I think it would be to roll it out across the country, but the issue is there, for us to roll it, Eat It, Work It, Move It at the moment, it's a 2-year program, 2-year sort of intervention with kids, and it's only $70. Only $70 to do major preventative work, and we sort of think about the money that we invest in health, and we think about the health budget that the federal government and the state government spend. Such a minor amount at the moment is spent on prevention. Here's an opportunity to really have something that works, has demonstrated benefits. It can be done, and when we can do it, and we can really drive that from Macarthur, and that's something for this region to be really proud of.
Is it federal or state?
Your
financing of this?
It's a combination at the moment. So I know that I mentioned before, we've got some corporate partners with West Leagues at Campbelltown and the different sponsors with the West Tigers, and also the NRL through their One Community Foundation. But there's also a large amount of funding that's now come in after a successful submission of a grant through the Australian Government Department of Health and Ageing. So a good balance there between corporate and government, because I don't think you want to be too reliant on one particular sector. But it looks really positive as we move forward.
Okay, mate. Good to talk to you, Mark. Thanks for coming in, mate.
Yeah, thank you.
And this is Captain Patton coming in very soon. I'll be talking to my favourite clown.